Alright. What's up, everyone? Unfortunately, we had made videos for you guys last week, but my phone decided to be an a-hole, and they got deleted, so we're going to try this again. And we're here, we're going to do something a little different this time. Usually the three of us are confined pretty much to just wrestling when we're together. But tonight, we're going to take some shots. We're going to go at anybody. It could be boxing. It could be the jerk-off walking across the street that looked at you funny and you just want to smash his face into the curb.
Fuck you, Bobby.
It could be the NFL. It could be whatever the fuck is on your mind at the moment that you just want to get off your chest. Yeah, appropriately, we're calling this the shooting gallery. Because we're going to be taking some shots at people, and if it offends you, by all means, please feel free to go fuck yourself. So, am I going first? Who's going first? Am I going first? Do I have the floor?
Yes,
you have the floor.
You have it.
Okay. So, I am going to take shots at the boxing world real quick. I'm going to, real quick, shout outs to Correa IOTBA. Shout out to Bloodstained Lane. We've had a few conversations about these things I'm about to bring up. Number one, boxing fans love to say that a fighter is ducking somebody because the contract isn't signed as quickly as you would like. I don't think you motherfuckers actually understand what the term ducking somebody means. When you say somebody is ducking somebody else, it means they are purposely avoiding any and all confrontation with this individual. Doing whatever the fuck they can. More recently, I've heard it a lot with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, that Joshua is ducking Wilder. Okay, you fucking morons, I swear to God. Anthony Joshua just fought and knocked out the best heavyweight of the last 10 years easy. It was a hell of a fight. He put on the show of a lifetime, and the kid was only in his 19th fucking professional fight. Wilder's had 38 fights and hasn't fought anybody close to as good as that. So you want me to believe that after fighting arguably the greatest heavyweight of the last generation, that he's afraid to fight a guy who's been fighting a bunch of nobodies except for Bermane Stiverne? No. More realistically, you fucks just need something to complain about. That's it. You get a heavyweight like Anthony Joshua who looks like he could be that once-in-a-lifetime kind of heavyweight. Something special. And instead of just enjoying watching him knock motherfuckers out, because that's what we all want to see anyways, you have to find something to bitch about. Why? Is it like just in your fucking DNA? And oh, wait a minute, time out. While we're here, and this was on the last video, but you guys didn't see that one, so I'm going to say it again on this one. If you're one of the many fucking morons out there who believe that Canelo Alvarez earned a victory over Triple G, and that the 118-110 scorecard was justifiable, please do us all a favor and blow your fucking brains out. Because you do not belong in the boxing community. Not even a little bit. Okay? Triple G won that fight. I don't give a fuck what clip you show me, what highlight you show me. I can show you highlights of Ulis here fighting an in-prime Mike Tyson. And for about 4 seconds of a clip, I can make Ulis look good. Now, when I run the whole thing, you'll see Ulis get knocked the fuck out, because that's what Mike did in his prime. But I can make him look good for a couple seconds by just picking out the spots where he looked okay. That's what the fucking highlight is, you idiot. When it says Canelo highlight, it's meant to make him look good. Anything can look good in those moments. Triple G won the fight. He outthrew, outlanded. Yes, Canelo looked good at times for about 20 seconds at a time. And then he forgot to fight the rest of the fucking round. It's a fight. And that's what Triple G did. He turned it into a dog fight. It was a fight. And Canelo spent most of the night on the back foot, which, if he was Floyd Mayweather and did this, you would all call him a coward and say that Mayweather ran again. Canelo does it, and he's a fucking genius. I don't understand you fucking boxing fans, man. I really don't get it. I just don't. Doesn't make any fucking sense to me. None at all. I need a minute here. I'm getting angry. Anybody else want to go for a little while?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I touched on this subject last week, but as you said, the video never uploaded. Damn phone updates. Fuck you, phone updates. Anyway, this one goes out to the NFL. Also goes out to Patriots fan. I'll touch up on the Patriots fan one first. All of you, please stop bitching and moaning that your team lost one game. Just please.
You're a fucking Patriots fan.
All right. He's pissed off too.
You're a Patriots fan.
His Giants lost 4.
My team is 0-4. You're a Patriots fan.
And if you were a smart Patriots fan, you would understand why you lost. Let's see. You had Danny Amendola questionable. You had Chris Hogan out and questionable. He played, not fully. And then, of course, you had Tom Brady's #1 connection on the field, questionable for the game, Rob Gronkowski.
It doesn't matter. None of that matters.
Your whole offensive formation,
it doesn't matter,
was done.
It doesn't matter. You have been blessed enough to have been a Patriot fan during an era where you have arguably the greatest quarterback of all time and arguably the greatest coach of all time on the same fucking team. They've brought you 5 fucking Super Bowls together. 5. There are some NFL teams out there that still don't have one yet. And they've brought you 5 just in this era together. And you're going to complain about a 2-2 start? Fucking cry me a river. Okay? My team can't even keep our quarterback standing up. Poor Eli looks like he's about to be sacrificed up to the gods. And you want me to fucking lose sleep over the fact that the Patriots are 2-2? No. Fuck that. I hope you fuckers go 2-20. I hope he's don't win again for the next 30 years. And it still won't matter because you've won 5 Super Bowls in like the last 10 years. So who gives a fuck? Shut up.
The other thing touching on the NFL, do any of you morons, this goes out to players too. Yes, I'm calling you a bunch of morons. I don't care if you make more money than I do. Do you guys know what you're protesting? Just out of curiosity. I mean, maybe I got this whole thing wrong, but isn't this supposed to be didn't this happen like a year or so ago?
Yeah, like last year.
With Colin Kaepernick? That's another fucking moron on a whole nother level?
Listen, they don't know. I firmly believe that about 80% of the players that are taking part in this protest have no idea what they're protesting. Colin Kaepernick started this protest against police officers' brutality towards the black community. Okay? And nobody's denying that that's happened.
Yeah, it's completely understandable.
You can't deny it. There's video evidence everywhere you look. Okay? However, what we are seeing more recently has nothing to do with that movement. This past Sunday, when most of the teams decided they were going to either take a knee, or the fucking Steelers who didn't even come out of their fucking locker room for the national anthem, okay? The only reason these overpriced crybabies decided to do this was because, you ready? Donald Trump said they shouldn't. That's it. That's the only reason they did this. I guarantee you half of them don't even remember why this protest started. And I got news for you. I'd love for you to tell me another country, since you got it so bad and all, where you can go make millions to catch a football. Go ahead, I'll wait. Nothing? No? Because it doesn't fucking exist. I'm not saying America's perfect. We're far from fucking perfect. Okay? We're overweight, we're lazy, and we're probably a little bit too much into pornography. You know, but hey, what the fuck? Nobody's perfect, right? But it's a lot better here than it is in most countries. What you call police brutality here, they call a Saturday afternoon in Afghanistan.
Listen, you go over to Singapore. For those of you that haven't passed history, Singapore is known as the cleanest country in the world. The cleanest. When traveling there, they show you this nice little video package. Then underlining that, if you're smart enough to pay attention, they say, what can happen to you in Singapore if you fuck up? There was a video on YouTube that I saw. An American went over there and graffitied a wall, trying to get his name out there or some shit.
They cut his hand off?
They fucking caned the shit out of that motherfucker. And no, it's not like, okay, you steal a candy bar, alright, that's 2 whacks. No.
No, they beat you until they
feel you learned your lesson.
Listen.
Smuggling drugs into Singapore.
They kill you.
Penalty by death.
Listen, nobody's saying that you don't have the right to protest. You absolutely do. Nor am I condoning the actions of these dumbass officers who feel like they have a badge so they can beat the hell out of whoever they want. What I'm saying to you is, if you're going to organize a protest, maybe it shouldn't be the millionaires sitting up there crying about it. And maybe they shouldn't do it on a privately owned team and then say, oh, our owners, if they penalize us, are restricting our right to this, that. No, it's a privately owned team, you dumbass. That owner can do whatever he wants. If he wants to, he can fire you tomorrow for wearing red socks. That's his fucking choice. And also, while we're on this subject, Colin Kaepernick does not have a job right now. And it's not because of the protests. I'm sorry. Everybody wants to say that's what it is. If that was the case, 90% of the NFL right now would be out of work.
Yep.
It's not because of the protest. It's not because he kneels during the national anthem. It's because he sucks.
Pretty much.
After his very well-placed run with the Niners, where he led them to a Super Bowl and all, he then followed that up with a 2-14 season. The next season, he didn't get a single win and lost his job. Since then, anytime he's been put in, he has sucked. Because I guarantee you, if he was any good at all still, he'd have a job somewhere. Okay? Terrell Owens and Randy Moss did some of the dumbest shit you ever could have seen done on a football field. And guess what? They still got a job, whatever they wanted to. Why? Because they were 2 of the greatest wide receivers of all fucking time. So you look past the fact that they're fucking morons. If he was that good, he'd still have a job. That has nothing to do with the protests. I'm sorry. It has to do with the fact that he wants star quarterback money, but hasn't played at a star quality since the year they went to the Super Bowl. Shut the fuck up. It's got nothing to do with anything. He sucks. If he didn't suck, he'd have a job. That's it. You've been very quiet, sir.
Well, you two have been going at it so far, so...
Well, you have to have something to bitch about.
Oh, I do.
Step up.
All right.
It's your turn.
Thank you.
The fuck?
I steal his hat all the time. It's really funny. Which led me to run into a bush one time, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah, it really is. Had to be there.
Fuck you, bushes.
Fuck you, Del Rio.
I knew that was coming. Suck a dick, Sonny. Anyway.
I'm pretty sure she's sucked multiple.
She probably has one in her freaking mouth right now.
We're getting way off topic. Come on.
Freaking... Anybody else here hate Dana White?
I could live without him.
Yeah, kind of.
No, I find stupid. You know, like since like UFC made that deal and they became like the whole thing with Reebok and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know they don't allow any fighters or any refs or anything to have sponsorships of their own?
Yeah, it was actually a big source of controversy because that's where, for those of you that don't know, UFC fighters, with the exception of Conor McGregor pretty much, and maybe Ronda Rousey when she was winning, don't make a lot of money. Okay, I mean, I guess you got to take this in retrospective, okay? They make a lot of money compared to the average Joe working at the gas station, but compared to other athletes in the world, they didn't make shit, okay? So their sponsorships were huge because it's where they made a bulk of their money. So when UFC made the deal with Reebok, it limited a huge opportunity for them to go out and make money because now their sponsorship is in their contract. You sign with the UFC, you're signing a sponsorship deal with Reebok. That's it. You can't go anywhere else to get sponsored. And old big head Dana White has no problem with this and ripping off fighters at every turn. I don't know. I think it's a little fucked up personally. And
not only that, like one of the people who were like, I think either a cut man. I think he was a cut man.
Stitch.
That worked with and worked with the UFC for like several years. Once he complained about it openly, like on Twitter, he was fired literally the next day for it.
Stitch, the only cut man that's ever been famous. Yeah, listen. The UFC fighters should take a page out of the Conor McGregor handbook. Because what McGregor has showed UFC fighters is that if you're good enough, you don't need Dana White to market you. You don't need the UFC to brand you. Conor McGregor could go off right now and fight anywhere and anybody, and I guarantee you he's going to make a shitload of money. Because not only is he good, not only is he great, but he's marketed himself and branded himself in such a manner that he is the most popular fighter in the UFC ever. Period. The UFC to me is amazing because in the boxing world, you don't have situations like this. Fighters negotiate what they're getting paid based on how big the fight is. The UFC sets how much you're getting paid with your fucking contract. They don't get to negotiate their fights. It's a fucked up system, and I don't know, man. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of other companies out there right now doing MMA. Not on a major scale. You got Bellator, and that's about it.
You also got like Pride and some few other ones.
Pride's dead.
Oh, Pride's dead?
Pride is dead.
Pride's been dead, dude.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Pride is dead. The
Sorry,
dude who started
ago.
Pride started a new promotion, but it's nowhere near as big as Pride was. Pride died. The UFC bought it. All their fighters came over to the UFC. Bellator is really the only other one.
They really compete with the UFC.
And even them, they don't put on pay-per-views. They're not as big as the UFC is. So, unfortunately, if you're a fighter and you want to make at least decent money, you have to go to the UFC. But the UFC is basically a fucking monopoly. They own MMA. And they're making it impossible for fighters to make any real money. Like most of those guys that you see on the opening card and the low-level fighters, they still have to work full-time fucking jobs. They fight because they love it. Meanwhile, they're going in there and getting their fucking heads cracked open. And after they pay their, lawyers to negotiate the fight and their cut men to make sure they don't die and their trainers and everybody else, maybe they have enough to take their kids out for ice cream. Who knows?
Yeah, it's just a situation of it, because since the whole Reebok deal, you have to wear Reebok gear.
Which sucks, by the way. The Reebok gear is shit.
None of that. You just see some of the shirts they came out with where one of them were misspelled.
Yeah.
The fighters' names.
The Reebok gear is shit. The tap-out gear was so much fucking cooler by leaps and bounds.
Yeah. Tap out was the shit.
But even that, when they made this deal, they hurt a lot of companies like Tap Out because their major source of income was working with UFC fighters. They can't anymore. So, yeah, Dana White's pretty much a scumbag, and so are the Fertittas and everybody else who's ownership in the UFC right now, because they're just trying to make a situation where they control all avenues.
So with that said, lovely salute to Dana White.
Nope, I still got more to say. Friggin' what I find stupid, like, you not only are you supposed to wear Reebok gear, it applies to all, like, anybody who signed the UFC, that they have to wear Reebok gear or else they'll be fired. Except to the president of the UFC, who can wear really any brand he wants and not get fired or have any repercussions for it.
Do you know that Dana White is nothing?
Yeah, I knew that.
You know that, right?
Yeah. Oh, I was looking forward to, like, remember, like, when him and Tito Ortiz were going at it?
I was hoping
to see Tito Ortiz
skull.
just crack him open.
But Dana White's nothing. He doesn't do the matchmaking to set the fights. He doesn't pay the fighters. He's a figurehead. That's it. Yeah. He's their mouthpiece. He's the guy who comes out, talks shit, and gets paid more than almost every fighter on that roster.
So, one more time, lovely salute to Dana White. Fuck you.
Should we get the fucking retard now?
Yeah, let's get the retard now.
Alright. This salute is to the guy that many of you have probably heard of at this point.
Oh, hold on, he doesn't deserve it. You gotta throw both up.
Charlie Zelenoff. Charlie Z. 160-0. As long as you don't count the countless times he's been knocked the fuck out by somebody. 160-0. If you count walking into a gym, telling a guy you're going to spar, and then cheap-shotting him. Listen, you are scum of the fucking earth, dude. And me and you have had more than one verbal exchange on your own fucking Facebook account. In fact, now you've gone as far as to blocking me.
Pussy.
Because
wow, what a bitch.
You call me a delusional fucking hater. Because when you post a video of you throwing a cheap shot at someone, I say, wow, that's a real scum move to do. You could have hurt that dude who had no idea what the fuck was going on. Charlie, the invitation stands, brother. I live in New Jersey. I sent you all my information. I invite you. Come on out here. Come on my show. Call me. I'll have you as a guest. We can talk live. Maybe I'll bring Bloodstain through and he can call you a fucking Momo. He can call you a fucking mutt. Because that's what you are. You're a dog trying to get famous off of what other people actually do. And you know who I feel bad for in all this? His father.
Damn.
You gotta watch these videos, okay? Because his father is usually there with him, and his father's the one trying to keep him from getting killed. And I don't, listen, I thought at first when I saw this, it was some guy being really smart and using YouTube to make a shitload of money. That's what I thought he was doing. Until I looked a little deeper. And what I realized it was is, it's a fucking schoolyard bully who never grew up, who thinks he's still the toughest guy around, and instead gets beat up by 16-year-old kids. He's been knocked out by a 50-year-old man.
He got choked out by the 16-year-old.
Okay, Deontay Wilder almost fucking killed you.
And for the record, I saw the fucking stupid little fucking graffiti hat you had in the video where you were calling out Deontay Wilder that said #1 dad. Well, #1, you're the scum of the fucking earth for talking shit about a man's sick child.
Yeah, that was a low blow.
And #2, what is your, what seriously goes on in your head, you narcissistic fuck?
Do you know this man had the balls and the limited mental capability to go and call out Chuck Liddell on the street?
Oh dear
my God.
He saw Chuck Liddell walking. Chuck was with his family. Chuck was with his wife and his kids. And this stupid fuck runs up to Chuck and is like, oh, you've been ducking me, I want to fight you. Chuck thought he was a fucking retarded kid. He kept walking. Chuck was like, I had no idea who the fuck he was. And I don't want to hurt the kid. But, you know, Deontay Wilder, you pushed his buttons a little too much. You talked about his daughter.
And then you claim you won that fight when clearly you were hiding behind a door the entire time.
It's hard to talk shit.
And then when Deontay broke free of his management and ran after you,
you ran like a little bitch.
Off.
No, it's hard to talk shit and to like freaking talk a big game and how badass you are when literally in all the times you got your ass kicked, you got more fucking hits than Google. Like, seriously, you got hit so many times, I thought they were hitting a fucking
and
dummy.
Honestly, I can't take you seriously after watching the video where you got choked out by a 16-year-old.
Listen, there are some of these videos out there where he's fought legitimate guys, legitimate fighters. He didn't win, but at least he stood there and fought. What he's done more recently, though, is just cowardly. There was a guy he lost to in an amateur fight when he was trying to be a legit boxer. This dude hit his ass so hard he nearly fell through the ropes. He showed up at the guy's, I believe it was the guy's gym, although I'm not 100% positive where they were. Walked up to him and said, I want a rematch. And the guy was like, dude, why don't you relax? It was an amateur fight. And as he was trying to talk to him, Charlie fucking sucker shot at him. No gloves on, no nothing. Just took a cheap shot at the dude. How do you want people to sit here? And then what makes me even more amazed is there were people on his Facebook page and shit that sit there, Charlie Z, the greatest of all time. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Pretty hard to take him seriously when he has so many losses.
Stop encouraging this man.
And I'm pretty sure Robin Williams probably has a win over him somehow.
He's not 160-0, okay? He's probably been in 160 fights, and if he's got, 10 legitimate wins, congratulations. Again, I don't call legitimate walking up to some poor fucking guy working out in the gym saying, let's spar, and then before the guy even gets both his gloves on, you're swinging away. And what's more realistic here, and what I'm going to say to you real quick, because if you are a father, I'm going to say this dad to dad, you need to stop now. Because what's going to happen is, you're going to call out the wrong pro fighter. Because Deontay almost killed you with that uppercut. You know the uppercut I'm talking about.
We all saw it.
If he'd have connected, you'd have been still eating through a fucking straw right now. You're going to call out the wrong man, though, one day. And he's going to hurt you. Bad. Because that's what these guys are trained to do. To hurt people. And your daughter is going to wind up with a father who doesn't even remember who the fuck she is because you've been hit so many times. Stop it. Knock it off.
Not only that, plus, one, the whole 16-year-old thing was funny. I laughed hysterically.
You sucker-shotted like a 60-something-year-old Floyd Mayweather Sr. Who, by the way, up until that moment was schooling you. And he's 60-something years old.
And then after one punch from Deontay Wilder, you're like, oh, no, I'm done.
Dude, you were crying.
Like, bro, you suck.
How you get your ass kicked so bad you were crying?
And I will. I absolutely will be posting this video directly onto your page.
Please do.
I really hope you see this.
Shit, I'll take you on. I don't give a fuck.
The world is drawn into you, Charlie. There's no doubt in that. You've got a ton of followers and lots of fans. But they're all idolizing a fucking idiot.
They are.
Okay? And you're feeding into it thinking that you're the greatest of all time. You're going to wind up getting killed. This isn't a game out here. Like, you're walking into people's gyms telling them you can knock them out. You're going to get fucking hurt.
Maybe he secretly wants to die. He realized his life is so pathetic up until now that he just wants to
Maybe,
go
I mean,
into it.
his mail order bride did leave him.
He had
Damn.
wait, he had a mail order bride? That makes you more pathetic. Congratulations, dickhead.
Damn, you couldn't even go out and find a woman like not even the right way, but just the fact that you couldn't get one in the most desperate way possible, you still couldn't.
I'd
get
give
one.
more respect to you if you went to a bar, sat there, and fucking talked yourself up because at least you got a woman on your own. You didn't have to pay for one.
But no,
Fucking pathetic.
he really tried to buy
Even if you got shut down, it's okay. You tried. A for effort.
Charlie,
But
buddy,
I give this one an F for fuckstick.
Charlie, buddy, we've had more than one conversation. You know me. I'm not afraid to have another one. I invite you. Come on. Tell me why you're the greatest of all time. And I'll tell you why you're a fucking moron. And we'll see who's got more facts to back up the statement.
Not even just that. If you got something else to say to that, you believe you're the greatest of all time, fucking come over here and prove it. Because I can prove why you're full of shit.
So, Charlie, from the bottom of my heart,
fuck you.